So, last time, we got into the second phase of investigations for Case 3. We basically managed to prove that the science for the teleportation thing was bullshit, like we already knew it was. And so now we have to find, one, the con artist who was pulled into helping make this fake experiment, and two, Sholmes, because Sholmes potentially has more information about Lord Beric von Zieks and the big event from his past that changed him. In the meantime, though, we were chatting with Gregson and Gina because they were the ones investigating where this mysterious con man is. Let's get going. Let's see, I think, have we finished speaking to her? Yes, about the dog and today's trial. I think we'd already tried presenting a couple things to her, and she did a whole, I can steal it from you, nyahaha. I don't think we've gone upstairs yet.
Oi! That's off limits up there. Try to sneak past me again, I'll stuff your gob full of the boss's fish and chips. Yes, please, I love fish and chips. I suppose we need special permission. Right! We're supposed to ask Lord Strongheart about getting special permission to go up. So I believe he should be here. Oh right, and Susato's back! I forgot to mention that, my little... Who are you? My little summary. 23rd of October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? I wonder. I've never seen her before. Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh? You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrambling to respond. Lord Van Zieks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. It's scrap metal now, is it?
Well, you're pretty. Maybe you need some sunlight, though. Actually, you might burn if you get into the sunlight. Is that a Caduceus staff there? And her badge is actually kind of similar to the little, I don't know what you call it, the clasp for his, I don't know what you even call that. It's not a cravat, is it? But the badges look kind of similar. I wonder if they're from the same department or something.
Until later then, Lord Strongheart. Yes, thank you. Who was that? That was Dr. Courtney Scythe? Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. Oh, she's the one who did the autopsy report. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensics laboratory. Right. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore.
I could examine anything. I'm just gonna talk. It's always the same shit in here.
What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially, of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly.
What do you mean?
For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to round it up and burnt in the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future. That's how you know this guy is a villain. He likes the cops. Look at those eyes. He means every word. Dr. Scythe? I'm assuming Scythe.
Hello! Welcome in.
Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well.
Interesting. Well, tell us more about that, please.
If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born. So yes, 16 years ago, in fact.
Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctiliousness? The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens.
Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I've no doubts they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it?
I lived with my grandmother in those years.
So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh.
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
What do you mean? Why? Well, clearly something was going on at the time.
And about Lord Van Zieks.
I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zieks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right? You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother Clint Van Zieks was murdered, it was just after young Barrack had graduated from the University of London and became a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started saying that wherever Barrack Van Zieks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh my word.
So Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper? It's the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh yes, Lord Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible. Are you well versed in science, then? Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. With Within a few hours, Dr. Scythe's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at that wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand.
Alright. So we can go to the forensics laboratory, but we could also go back to the stage. Let's go to the laboratory. New place. Ooh, this is spooky. I like that lamp. It's really cool. Very... Is Art Deco what I'm thinking of? With all the geometric shapes? Regardless, it's cool. 23rd of October, the Forensics Laboratory. I believe this is it. Dr. Scythe's laboratory? That chemical smell really assaults the nose, and there's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too. It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you've become, Miss Isato. We could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls, that is. Doing some examining, you got it. Are these like organs in jars? Those large jars seem to have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liquors or something, or like the pickled umeboshi plums we make back home. Father had jars like that in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in a preserving solution, probably as examples of some rare medical condition. Miss Isato, there are some things in the world that it's perfectly fine never to know about, ever. Oh. So as I said, I'm sure they're fruit liquors or umeboshi, aren't they? Of course. And the tools of the trade, I imagine. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing? It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open on the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor of chemicals in the air? You'd either have to have a cast iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. You could do both. Nothing over here. Interesting. Oh, there's this. Look at all the bottles on the shelves in these cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals. These ones here are labeled highly toxic. That's worrying because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh, yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes. Life goes on even when you're surrounded by death. Well, I guess that was for this up here. Okay. The chandelier. Big desk. I suppose this is Dr. Scythe's desk? I would not like to work in a place like this. It's very tidy though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Imagine how efficiently she must work. The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell can't be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves. Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose. I can just about cope with the one-eyed Dynamo doll watching over me, but that's all. Nothing on the floor, the chair, the owl? Owl! That looks like an owl and the crow up there. I know, and they haven't even twitched since we came in here. Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Naruhodo. I was afraid you're going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open. Yes, I think perhaps you're wise to put something like your daughter Madal on display in the office instead. Oh, I wish they were real. I want a spooky familiar. Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. That cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers are really very skilled, aren't they? Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo?
Mr. Sato, can't you tell that I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope.
I'll be sure to remember that from now on. Why are you such a spineless coward, my guy? How many dead bodies have you seen? I think that's everything in this room, actually. Unless, like, the lamp, the book, the book.
Look at this big, thick book here.
It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh? He's seen plenty of dead bodies, he just doesn't want to be one of them.
But these are other dead bodies. He's still not one of them. What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses.
I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances, and scalpel blades can be sharpened too.
It does seem a bit strange, you're right. 500 scalpels a month. What could they possibly be using all of them for?
What are you doing? I'm assuming that's her.
Oh, yep, that's her.
Oh, she's got a little snake? That must be jewelry, but it's still very cool. Also, this theme? Hang on. This theme is insane? Damn water bottle. Sorry, I was trying to get like a water bottle quietly open on the side while this played. God damn, this is such a good theme. I'm glad I went with a more like mature voice for her.
Sorry, we had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... So you thought you'd snoop around, and that's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean.
So we came to ask you about your findings, on Lord Strongheart's advice.
Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately.
Your findings.
So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odie Asmon, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and the Mr. Asmon who appeared moments later, partway up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that can't be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out.
Let's see, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they?
Very true, but sadly in this instance that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Fingerprints? Oh, hang on. I'm pretty sure when you make a wax figure of someone, you can still get details like fingerprints and stuff to be exactly as the original. So maybe we were onto something with our wax double thing.
I'm not quite sure who it would have been. Like, maybe the body double that disappeared had a wax hand with his fingerprints? I don't know.
They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day, they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course.
Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually did take place. So where does that leave us?
My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery.
Oh, my. Mama? You have a daughter? Okay. Mama, what is this?
Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? And this is a lawyer, dear.
Oh.
Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Mama,
Yes.
can I cut this one up?
What? Okay! Alright! So she's just crazy. Got it. Okay.
I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like.
Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see.
We're being called it now! Okay! Humph. Boring.
I think I just had a near-death experience.
Oh, dear, Mr. Naruhodo, you're as pale as a corpse.
Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one.
Wait, if I examine her, do we get dialogue?
So, what are you doing at the moment, Doctor? Keeping a close eye on things so no impertinent Easterners think they can look around my office.
Are there such impertinent Easterners around? How terrible.
Yes, you. She doesn't mince her words, Mrs. Sato.
I think perhaps it's time we left. Yep, makes sense to me. Goodbye! Back to the experimentation stage.
Alright, we're going up now. Fuck you, Gina. You can't stop us. We have permission. Hey, that's off limits up there. Try to sneak past me again. No stuff your god for the boss's fish and chips.
Oh, do we have to... We do have special permission. Do I have to talk to her? Yeah, okay. Investigating the scene.
Gina. We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Alright, if it's round here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Yes, Toby.
Woof. Woof, 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 woof. The machine that exploded must be at the top of the stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind...
Sorry, you can't go up there, Suze. Oh. Oh, sorry.
Oh?
It's like I told Odo yesterday, even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it is special dispensation for a Scientific Equipment Act. Is that what you're thinking of? That's the one. That's why only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? Forensic something. The Forensic Investigation Team, is that what you're thinking of? That's the one, yeah.
But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted?
I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or other, as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something?
I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps.
That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something.
Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart.
What? You met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him, he waited for 3 hours at the Cove's office and came back sniveling. Tragic.
Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing.
Oh yeah. Honestly. Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this is above board, are you?
I'm sure everything will be fine.
That really would be tragic. Alright then, thumbs the stairs. Off you go.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Gay, homosexual gay. Calling her Suze. A special nickname just for her? I know what you are, Gina.
These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out.
There we go. Finally got that water bottle open.
Yeah, just as much as the record yesterday. 23rd October, Great Exhibition Grounds, experimentation stage.
Oh my, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place.
Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment.
What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrain went to in order to obtain the research grant.
No. The professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it.
Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British.
You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure.
Oh, look, is that?
Hi! I mean, I'm assuming you already have position, but hi! Didn't think I'd see you get here. Jesus.
Lord Van Zeeks?
So, I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mrs. Otto?
Already?
He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think.
But we have permission to be here, from the top! We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything.
From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart?
Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like.
She could have been at the center of the explosion here, and it wouldn't have bent her steel will.
Okay, well, firstly, now we're gonna examine everything. Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world?
It does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention personally.
It is very subjective, isn't it?
Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation, and I've realized that British buildings, being made from brick and stone, are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel.
Oh yes, I do agree with you there.
But I can't help wondering what an onion does for the roof of a building. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions.
You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in roofs, Miss Naruto. Not the chair, this little thing? Canister? Oh, it just takes me to the... okay. What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast.
And what they call the birdcage was right in the middle of it all, just here.
But look, Mr. Naruto, that metal grill on the floor looks as though it's designed to open.
It does, doesn't it? And if the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight.
I don't think there's any doubt this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? Yeah, I see. It's if like all of the different panels popped up, then bam, they could just go underneath into the big tower.
This wasn't here yesterday.
Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air.
That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Harebrain said in court, it's made of wood.
Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruto?
I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they'd finished their work.
But sadly, not with the body inside it.
No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial.
Wooden bird cage. The wooden cage that was used for Professor Harebrain's experiment. This cage with the victim inside crashed down into the crystal tower. And the Ferris wheel. I hear that a ride on the Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young London couples.
I think the Rams would be slightly spoiled by the abject terror personally, but then I'm not a Londoner.
Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruhodo?
It's not that I'm scared, not at all. It's just that staying on the ground seems so much safer.
Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Sholmes to accompany me on it in that case.
When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try.
Oh dear, it is complicated for you, isn't it?
I don't ship them. Because, hang on, let me check my court record. Oh, I can't see myself. She's only 16. She's much closer in age to Gina. So, they're my preferred one. But also, that kind of sounded like she was asking him on a date. That was surprisingly smooth, if it was.
A 16-year-old has game, apparently. Look at that horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing?
That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it.
It makes you think, doesn't it? If only it had just been a normal horn, none of this would have happened.
That's almost exactly what I thought as well. But I can predict what you're going to say next in that case. You're about to say, nothing ever goes to plan, aren't you?
Oh no, I would never say something like that.
However much I look at them, I just can't come to terms with those Tamari handballs floating in the sky.
You've been glaring at them constantly since we came up here.
Sorry, the feelings of wanting to ride in one and wanting never to set foot in one are fighting it out inside me.
But if you don't look where you're walking, you might fall from the stage.
I don't think I'd notice. That's how fiercely the battle inside me is raging.
I think you should make peace with riding in one, Mr. Naruhodo. It really would be much safer that way. I've never been in a hot air balloon, but it does sound exciting. However, I'm afraid of heights.
Oh, it doesn't take you back down if you just back out. You have to go back down manually. Interesting.
Anything else before we look at the obvious? Okay, yeah. We're good.
Least approachable man in the world winner, 10 years in a row.
Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you.
Lord Van Zieks. What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it?
Somebody save this gay man from his own disaster gay nature.
I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Well, the thing is...
Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything.
And yet you've managed to disturb me. Never mind. State your business, then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zieks about. Not the least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this.
Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try.
Your brother Clint. So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zieks. You Nipponese. Always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zieks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised.
Sorry, there's more to it then?
Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it?
You're too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next?
So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident?
As it happens, Lord Van Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance?
I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I featured one of the displays there, for public scorn.
Of course, the infamous Reaper the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he?
Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom.
A particular waxwork, which... Wait, you mean...
Yes, it's the Professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak.
I was unaware of that.
He's turned white as a sheet. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already?
Surely that goes without saying.
I'm very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier.
Which, according to Professor Harebrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle.
So, I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but,
We'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us.
Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns.
That's right, Capcom women fear no man. He's cooperating. Okay, alright. I didn't expect that.
Fine. Why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago.
This man looks like a mass murderer. Like, with gaunt cheekbones like that, he looks like a mass murderer.
Though it appears he already had the black monocle at that time. What?
Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us.
We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph?
What is it about Lord Van Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all.
A photograph of Drebber has been entered into the court record. A photographic print of the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber. Enoch? It's hard to make out, but he appears to be wearing a monocle with a black glass.
Hi! You again, mysterious man.
Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you.
Are you alright?
Who is this man, Mr. Nodohodo?
Lord Van Ziek's apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too.
Lord Van Zieks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment?
With him? Why?
Kazuma-sama!
I mean, they both seem pretty convinced he's Kazuma. Should I give him the same voice? He's supposed to be dead. I mean, but they did introduce the plot point of they never actually brought the body back home. I'll give him the same voice. Kazuma.
I don't believe it.
Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama?
I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late.
What's going on here? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something.
Well,
Since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor.
but he didn't tell you why, did he?
The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself.
He has amnesia?
Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side.
What?
He's to serve as my judicial assistant, on Lord Strongheart's orders.
He'll be in court with us?
Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama.
You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Yesterday, in fact, at Lord Van Zeek's office.
I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us.
I know. You're going to need to speak to him about that.
You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems.
What sort of problems?
Foreign affairs problems.
We could do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Sato.
Of course. I don't think any of your stuff has changed, right? Oh, now it has.
Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around you, you can do what you like.
Oh, that's alright, is it?
Are we going to this again? And I can't skip through it? Playing with Toby. Apparently we can't look around on the stage now. Okay.
Apparently we can't look around on the stage now because the forensic investigation team are at work. Can't you do anything, Gina? In your capacity as Inspector Lestrade?
Look, I like to help you out. But I'm just a trainee, ain't I? Ain't nothing I can do.
When it suits you, yes.
Right, away we go. I guess we can try checking in on the professor for now. Ask him oh dear. Oh no. Are you okay?
The first thing I thought of when seeing this room, it was the cell that Sonic was kept in Sonic Adventure 2. That was the old cell of fucking, what's his name again? Dr. Eggman's previous, his grandfather, whatever the fuck his name was. Yeah. The first thing I thought of was Gerald Robotnik's cell that Sonic was kept in. I don't know how that came to me so quickly, but it just did.
23rd of October, local prison, cell 11.
What's he doing?
He's... oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations?
And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo? And who is this young lady?
My name is Hisato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you.
I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning.
Oh, no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Hairbrain? What have you been working on in your cell?
I wonder if any of that math actually checks out. I don't think it does, but maybe some of it could. Ugh. Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to hand.
Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe?
Guessing a lot of it's probably just bits of real equations.
Yeah.
No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
How I Was Diddled and Fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. Oh. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers and ambitious sets of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1, An Odd Birth and Odd Upbringing.
You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that word means what you think it does. Send help.
I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case?
Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was fiddled by the pair of them. By Asman and that aloof engineer Drebber.
We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Oh, somebody please help me.
This morning's trial. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even.
I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way.
No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public.
No, of course you didn't.
But in court this morning, I realized something.
Oh?
If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Barrick did. He believed in my hypothesis.
Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case.
No, Barrick wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it.
Did he?
I think I understand now why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean.
Which is?
After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even.
I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there.
So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barrick, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense.
And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barrick insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish.
You think that's why?
I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul.
But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he?
Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it.
And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea?
Alright, next is Mr. Osmond. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start?
I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes.
When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so emphatic.
But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems.
I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic, it probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually.
But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception.
All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe.
It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Osmond is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer.
Mr. Enoch Drebber. Speaking of...
Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler?
It was about a year ago Mr. Osmond first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine.
But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist.
Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist.
What do you mean?
He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There is no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation.
I see.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once, I did visit his workshop.
What workshop?
Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine.
Why? Why didn't you mention this before? And off Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there.
Why are you such a scatterbrain?
So you've been to Drebber's place of work then?
Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see.
Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Drebber there.
Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry.
I was more than half expecting that.
You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there.
He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then.
The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best, a special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead. No, what are you thinking?
What do you think, Miss Susato? Oh, the machine for your next birthday?
I've never used any kind of perfume, Miss Naruto, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example?
The mom is clearly very cautious, Miss Susato. I'm sure he would never have...
Aha! Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look.
What?
Let me see that.
Throw it to the wind, why don't you?
Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No. Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful.
Mr. Enoch Drebber's business card, though it shows only the man's name, there is no address. Alright, well, firstly, let's actually take a look at this card. Well, I guess we can examine the birdcage, too. There's a hole in it at the bottom. Oh, there we go.
Now, look here, Mr. Sato.
Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height.
Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Causing damage to its base. Interesting. The door would have been locked. That's where it was hung from. Hanged? I think it's hung in this case. Okay, the rest of it's fine. And then the photograph. Still say he looks like a murderer. Interesting.
This dark smudge here.
I think perhaps it's machine oil.
Yes, possibly. Professor Harebrained mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said especially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. The dog!
Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that's more fragrant than the finest perfume, so excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all.
Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here.
Smear of oil in the reverse. Anything to look at on the front. I wonder what these two signs are supposed to be. They're clearly handwritten. Interesting. Alright, thanks for your time. I guess I'll present. Do you want to talk about the birdcage?
Professor Harebrained, what do you make of this?
Oh yes, that's just what we need to prove my hypothesis, isn't it?
No, it's nothing to do with your hypothesis, actually.
Then take it away. I don't want to be bothered with anything that doesn't assist my science.
Alright, keep your abundant hair on.
What about Andy?
Professor, do you recognize this?
Oh, it's Andrew, my faithful friend. How have you been? Are you alright? Nobody's mistreated you, have they?
Don't worry, he's being very well looked after.
I always rub him with machine oil until he's gleaming.
Right.
And then when I come to tighten a screw with him, he slips in my hand and I can't do it. Ah, it's that age-old problem faced by driver files the world over, isn't it?
I really wouldn't know, I'm afraid.
Okay. Alright, you are now a waste of time. Okay, goodbye. I think at this point, it's back to the stage to unleash the hound. Or sorry, release the hound. There we go. Take this business card.
About this, Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning my letters at the moment. I only know A to E, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble...
Ah, actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important.
Huh? How come? There's just dirty old smudge on the back, that's all.
It turns out that this is very high-quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent, apparently.
You don't say. Let's have a whiff then. You sure? I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh, right. You mean Toby.
You little baby. Look at his tail.
His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can't he?
Professor Harebrained informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop.
I did this last time, but I'll do it again. You little baby.
I think he's picked up a scent. So I mean, if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy cove's workshop.
That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping.
Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... What's a pickpocket? If I can lead everyone to that Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week.
Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted.
Poor Gregson. Right then, Otto, leave it to me. Sorry? I'm gonna get going after that dodgy engineer cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Oh, right. Oh well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck. It'll be the boss. Poor Gregson again. Ready, Toby? Kotaro Senavia. Come on then, boy. See you later.
I do hope the sound of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop.
Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Well, I think we've done all the investigating that we can do here for now. If we could just determine what the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber.
I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months.
Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We'll have to find him at Madame Tispel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit.
Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture.
Alright, away we go! 23rd of October, Madame Tispel's Museum of Waxworks.
Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't got used to the place yet. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery, of course.
Susato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? What's the matter?
Look, Mr. Naruhodo, look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before.
There he is, back again.
It looks exactly Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail.
Aha.
What is it?
Oh, sorry, I think you'll find. That's the temporary waxwork himself.
The friend of my dedicated employee.
Oh, yes, hello again. It's Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
I must say, I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs.
You don't mean?
But yes, the mystery is solved already.
Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough.
So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties.
Yes.
His habitual duties? Alas, do not disturb, huh?
Poor Susato-san, she looks very perplexed.
Has the examining changed at all? I'm pretty sure not, since we came here previously. Yeah, I'm assuming not. Okay, hi Sholmes.
I really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I'm longing to say hello again. But where is he?
Why is he using the boxing animation?
I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually.
Oh, what do you...
Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I! The world-famous great detective and waxwork, Herlock Sholmes! Oh no! Susato-san! Susato-san!
Oh, he scared her half to death.
My most humble apologies.
I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment, via London.
My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty food deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality.
I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes?
Merely a secret identity, you understand, though the case is largely solved now.
Largely solved?
We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Oh, sorry, we're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume? Indeed, we are, my good fellow. As predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise. Or any food so far today, for that matter.
I'm a
feeling a little hungry myself. We went to a taco festival earlier today, and so our strategy was to just get a couple tacos from each place, and it was like just enough of the places that were there to fill us up for the time, but it wasn't like a long-lasting fullness. So now I'm a little peckish. We're doing leftovers for dinner again, I think, just because we have so much food that we need to get through. We have a habit of like making a lot of food for leftovers, so that way I can take it to lunch for work. But then, because we cook so often, we have more and more leftovers, and we just can't get through it because it's only 2 of us. It makes me die a little on the inside whenever we have to throw out food, especially if it's good food. But what can you do? And it's just a good thing that we can afford it. That stomach rumble echoed across the whole museum. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, it's a most modern invention allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing. Just between you and I, it would appear the culprits had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no?
Yes, I think perhaps. The ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive.
But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
A fact I must ask you to keep from Madame Tispel's at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all. Oh, poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork?
About Enoch Drebber.
We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh?
Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Harebrained and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer, quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. Really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least, I may be in a better position to help. Yes, Drebber's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I should gladly give you my thoughts on it.
And about Kazuma.
Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing stare. What is this about?
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship. Your words were very clear.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
You told us that it was a murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body.
Indeed, and wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today, the victim, Kazuma Asugi. You're quite sure?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure. It was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all? Ah ha ha ha! Priceless! I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Miss Naruhodo? I could believe that the crewmen present at the time could make that mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say.
What do you know, you little piece of shit? Tell me your secrets.
Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print?
It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber. The face of the engineer we seek.
Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course, so looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed.
What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden.
What do you know? Tell me your secrets.
I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned, and I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh, yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it for a mere 5 shillings? That's a special one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor?
Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone?
The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it well worth it. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. I can never tell with you, that's the point.
Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings.
Gratefully received. So the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure.
Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit.
Through those heavy curtains at last.
Is the waxwork gonna be of him?
5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it?
No. Ah, we could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. So is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chip-loving inspectors.
Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think.
October, Madame Tispel's special exhibit. Oh, goodness. Why is the head missing? Did he fuck up his recovery so that the head is missing?
Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here.
Mrs. Sato, I say we turn our heels and go straight home via a really big confectionery.
We certainly can't do that. We paid 5 shillings already.
True. Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place.
This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved.
Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we?
Yes, we will get what we paid for.
It's that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble.
I like this music here.
Is it the same music that played when there was that one Dr. Scythe? I can't tell. I think I remember there being more harpsichord, so maybe it's not the same music. Whatever music this is, though, it's very good. Let's take a look at you. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real.
Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat.
And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look.
Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail.
A camera, maybe?
What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera? But it's so small. Bird's technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film.
We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think. The brown and gold looks like something Iris would make. Looking at the photographic plates inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken.
What's a photographic plate?
It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look.
You should see yourself, Sasada-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you?
Okay, the lantern maybe?
That's quite a large lamp the man's carrying. Or is it a lantern? It's not unlike a Japanese chochin paper lantern, actually, isn't it?
Lamp, lantern, chochin. The point is, it casts very little light. To be walking alone in a graveyard at night with only this? Well, I certainly couldn't do it.
I'm not sure I could visit a graveyard at all, even in broad daylight, to be honest.
Yep. Why have we been seeing so many of these strange cross symbols? What do they mean? I suppose, yeah, we can look at the shovel too. What a large shovel! He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he? What on earth was the man doing with a shovel in a graveyard in the middle of the night?
Mr. Sato,
Yes?
that's a spade, isn't it?
We're doing this again. No, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel.
No, although we haven't considered travels.
We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement.
So we're going to bury the hatchet. You're right, though. What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's the real question.
I mean, clearly he was trying to dig up some bodies.
You can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just...
Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. Ah!
What on earth? How can...
I don't believe it. A black monocle?
Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is...
Yes. It's Enoch Drebber.
You know, when I said he looked like a mass murderer because of his cheekbones, I didn't actually think... Okay. The color of his hair is different, but...
It's unmistakably him. I'm assuming that's Mr. Sholmes. Indeed it is. Mr. Sholmes. This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. And the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved, were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head to... Totus sweet? Whatever. As Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Iris still waits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ah.
Do you know, though? Something about this room is strange.
Strange? What do you mean?
Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not?
Indeed they are, Mrs. Sato. Do go on.
And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it? A man rising from the grave, if he was buried alive.
I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago.
And firstly, I never actually took a look at this guy. This must be the killer! The fiend known as the professor!
Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tispel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble royal blood.
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place.
I know, looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail.
Oh, I can't rotate it like this. Missing head. So this is the condemned man.
Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine. But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Mrs. Sato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absentmindedly forgot to reattach it?
That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it?
Or perhaps the thief absentmindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum.
And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means that we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. It looks like a piece of broken glass, and quite a big piece, too.
It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than the normal window glazing, I'd say. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from?
Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder?
Is that the Crystal Tower? I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength.
But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example.
Ah, well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass was broken, too.
You don't mean?
Exactly, the Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxwork's jacket?
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Here's a glass, a broken glass has been entered into the court record. Can I, like, rotate him around? I want to see if he was stabbed.
Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. And now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence?
Because this jacket hasn't been stabbed, but, like, has the body been stabbed? The hands... Okay, it seems like nothing else we can actually examine from this because I can't shift around the angle. Not the other grave, not the owl. Okay, so now we can converse with you. The resurrecting convict.
I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, every one being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies.
Oh gosh, an enormous hound! How awful!
After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand? Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? See me the professor's identity. As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh?
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life.
Came back to life?
He clawed his way out to the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events.
There was a witness.
But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat.
Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen?
Good God, how many plot threads are tying together here? Because that sure sounds like a description that could befit the Hound of the Baskervilles with that giant fucking collar that we found. The young witness.
So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber.
10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he's about 20 years old.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last tale about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tispel's.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place, in a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night.
Yes, what was he up to?
Following the execution.
The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into a complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact.
What do you mean by no resurrection?
The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
No!